You wake up in the morning, ready to grab a quick breakfast and kickstart your day. You head to the kitchen, open the fridge, and boom, you're hit with choices. Should I fry some eggs? Go for bread, cheese, and walnuts? Maybe some jam? Or should I make a smoothie, tea, or coffee? 10 minutes later, you're still standing there, overwhelmed, unsure what to choose, and you end up rushing out the door with just a glass of water and a frustrated mood. Or maybe you're on an online store trying to buy a pair of headphones. You scroll through 100 options, read a dozen conflicting reviews. One says, best ever. Another says, worst ever. And after 30 minutes of mental chaos, you just give up. That, right there, is decision noise. It's that constant mental chatter that drains your energy, clutters your mind, and leaves you feeling mentally exhausted by the end of the day. In today's world, where we're constantly choosing what to wear, what to eat, how to reply to messages, decision noise can really get under our skin. Raise your hand if you felt this before. I bet a lot of you are quietly nodding, thinking, yep, that's totally me. Don't worry. Today we're going to break this down. What exactly is this noise? Why does it mess with us? And most importantly, how can we quiet it down? Let's get a little scientific. Now that we've visualized what decision noise feels like, let's dive into the psychology behind it. There's actually a term for this: decision fatigue. Researchers have found that our brain has a limited daily capacity for decision-making, kind of like a battery. The more you use it, the quicker it drains. Here's a fascinating study from 2011 published in PNAS. It showed that as the day went on, judges became more likely to deny parole, not because the cases were worse, but simply because their brains were tired of making decisions. Now imagine how many decisions you make every day. On average, people make around 70 decisions a day, from what to eat for breakfast to which text messages to respond to. The more decisions we make, the more the quality of those decisions goes down. Eventually, we either make poor choices, or we just quit trying. Now get this. In a famous experiment at Stanford, one group was given 24 types of jam to choose from, and another group only had 6. Guess which group actually bought more jam? The group with fewer options bought 10 times more. Why? Because when options are too many, our brain freezes. This is called choice paralysis. Even brain scans show that when we're overwhelmed with choices, activity in the prefrontal cortex, the part that handles decision-making, goes down, and the amygdala, which controls stress and emotion, heats up. In short, decision noise literally scrambles our brain and spikes our stress. And there's another theory called cognitive load theory. It says our brain can only process so much information at once. The more choices we face, the heavier the mental load, and the more energy our brain burns. In a 2019 Nature Human Behavior study, participants who had to make lots of decisions in one day performed 20% worse on memory and focus tests. So not only does decision noise drain your energy, it actually lowers your brain's performance. And get this, Harvard researchers ran a study where people were asked to make a bunch of small decisions, like choosing pen colors or paper types, and then solve a tough puzzle. Guess what? The people who made more decisions gave up way faster, meaning decision overload even kills your willpower. So yeah, if by the end of the day you feel like your brain just can't function anymore, decision noise might be the reason why. Let's talk solutions. Now that we understand what this noise is and how it wears us down, let's talk about how to silence it. Good news, there are some super simple, science-backed ways to clear out the mental clutter and get your focus back. Simplify your choices. Try to limit the number of small decisions you make daily. Steve Jobs famously wore the same black turtleneck and jeans every day to avoid wasting mental energy on clothes. Mark Zuckerberg? Gray t-shirt. Every single day. You can do this too. Build small routines around things like breakfast or your outfit. For example, I personally make the same smoothie every morning. It's quick, it's easy, and I don't have to think about it. A 2018 study showed that people who follow simple routines report up to 25% less stress. Prioritize with the 80-20 rule. This rule says that 80% of your results come from just 20% of your decisions. So save your brain power for the big stuff, like choosing a job or a home, and stop overthinking little things like, what should I eat tonight? I once created a list of 5 go-to meals and started picking from that list every night. Less time spent deciding, more peace of mind. Time your decisions. Make your important choices in the morning, when your brain is fresh and decision fatigue hasn't kicked in. A study from the University of Michigan found that people make up to 30% better decisions earlier in the day. Personally, I plan out my entire week every Saturday morning, and it really works. Automate your decisions. Set rules for repetitive situations, like, if I can't decide what to order, I'll just get a salad. Or, I'll check emails for only 10 minutes a day. Psychologists call this habit formation, and a 2020 study showed that smart habits can reduce cognitive load by up to 40%. Let me give you a real-life example. My friend Sarah used to spend ages deciding what movie to watch on weekends. Eventually, she made a list of 5 favorites and started picking only from that. Now she chooses faster, watches more, and enjoys her free time way more. You can do the same for shopping, books, clothes, anything. Final thoughts. So yeah, decision noise can totally drain your brain and mess with your peace. But the good news is, you're not stuck with it. Life doesn't have to feel complicated with every tiny decision. By simplifying your day and focusing on what really matters, you can free up your mental space and enjoy the moment a whole lot more. Here's a little challenge for tonight. Pick one small decision in your life and simplify it. Decide right now what you'll wear tomorrow or what you'll have for breakfast, and just notice how much lighter your mind feels. Drop a comment and let me know how it went. And if you have your own hacks for cutting down decision noise, share them with the community. I'd love to hear them. Thanks so much for sticking around till the end of this video. I hope this episode helped you take one step closer to a calmer, clearer mind. Until next time, take care of yourself and don't let that decision noise wear you down. And as always, thank yourself for listening to this. Because if you listen to Vin, you don't need to care anymore. Vin is watching over you.